So today's class, I thought we would use a chair. A chair is really valuable. If I was set up with good wall space, I'd show you stuff with the chair and the wall, but just know that the chair, you want to just ensure that there's some stability because you don't want to be crashing in the chair. Make sure if you do something with the chair that you just test it for stability. I've been in workshops where we put belts on them and up to the wall and stabilize them even more. And there's so many ways to use chairs in yoga practice. Let's begin. So I invested in 2 yoga chairs, oh wow, quite a few years ago. And, besides the fact that they work for yoga, it means you have 2 folding chairs available if you have extra guests in your house. So there's lots of good reasons to. They're not inexpensive, but I really like these ones with the padded seat. So I'm just going to put it a little there in the edge there. I'm going to tuck my toes under. And we're going to bring the elbows on the chair to get a shoulder stretch. So don't have the elbows too wide. You want to try to bring them as close together as possible. And then you can start to back up your feet even further if you feel like you have that capacity to stretch. And then you just bring the head down. Make sure that you're using your abdominals and then dropping the armpits. Inhale coming up. And if you're able to, without it collapsing, you want to take your hands so you've got a finger on the bar here, so the hands are facing this way, not straight on. And really press the palms into the chair, and that should help stabilize it. And then you go into a version of downward dog. And then inhale, and if you're able to, this is where often it's nice to have it stable at the wall. You can come over, you're still on your toes, and you can come into an upward facing dog. And the chair really gives you a bit of lift that's much harder to feel sometimes. But really engage the legs when you do this. And then come back into your downward dog. And you can play with the downward dog and walk the feet further back as you warm up. But just make sure that the chair is stable. And then again, inhale, bringing those hips forward, lifting the chest through into upward facing dog. And come back into the chair version of downward facing dog. Now for me right now, I'm in a position where I'm getting a really good calf muscle stretch. So you can play with what your body needs and how close or far away. If your feet are too close, it becomes more of an uttanasana. But by bringing the feet further back, it has more qualities of downward dog. And then inhale, come into another upward facing dog. And then one more downward. And then bring the right leg forward. And what's nice here, this is also where it can be useful to have the chair against the wall. You've got your shin straight up and down, and then you can really inch the back foot longer and come up into warrior one or warrior lunge, and you can have the fingertips on the chair, or if you need to stay a little forward, you can put your hands here. And actually, you know, we'll do it a couple of times, so maybe just lean forward on the first one so you really feel the length in the spine, head to tail, warming up the hip flexors in the front, and then bringing that foot back. Then you can press into your downward dog version and bring the other foot through. And again, if you want to slide that foot back, just find that alignment with the leg and the head and the tail. And come back into downward facing. And bring that right leg forward again. Then you can come up to the fingertips. Really engage those abdominals. And if the fingertips are what's keeping your chair stable, keep it there, maybe even press deeper down. But if you're able to, you might be able to lift the arms up. And then bring the hands back down. Switch sides, so go into that version of downward dog. Bring that left shin, and again, come up to those fingertips, and if you're afraid that the chair is not going to stay stable, you can just stay here, or if you're able to, you can inhale the arms up. Bring the hands down, foot back into downward dog, just for the heck of it. I need to bring my hands back up a little bit. Come into an upward facing dog, and then back to a downward facing dog. And then bring that right leg into the chair, and then put the heel down. And then you can press one hand there and try to set yourself up for warrior two. Now, if you need to keep the hand down to stabilize the chair, do that, and you can just lift the back arm up and look over the back hand. Actually, that's a different way and a good way, alternative way to practice this pose. And then pivot around, change sides, or actually bring the foot back first, downward dog, and then the other foot forward, placing that heel down, fingertips here, and then really lifting that back arm, looking behind you. Bringing that hand around, foot back into downward facing. And then go ahead and give yourself an upward facing dog. And back to downward facing. And then bring that right foot to the chair, left foot down. And keep the hand there and pivot around to Parsvakonasana. So you have a place where you can really press the hand into the chair. Couple of breaths here. And then pivot back around. Hands on the chair. Right leg back into the downward dog. Left foot forward. So now the shins parallel or perpendicular to the floor. And then the back foot's down and the hands on the chair. Top arm can come up and over. Like to do an upward, so this is always optional. You can go into an upward facing dog and back into a downward facing dog. And then bring the right foot forward. And this is what's great about having the chair. Now I have this place, and if you've got a bar on top, you can balance into Ardha Chandrasana. Or the other option is the hand on the chair and the arm up. And as you get comfortable, you can start to bend the elbow, come even deeper if that works for you. And then take that top foot back and come all the way back. You've got your hand here into Utthita Trikonasana. So triangle pose. A couple of breaths here. Bend the front leg, bring the hands around to your downward, bring the left leg forward, and again, you can place the arm on the bar to lift the leg up, or the hand, or you can start to bend the elbow. Step that top foot back, hand on the chair, Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. And the front leg, hands on the chair, into downward facing. And then you can do a bit of upward facing. Back to downward facing. Inhale, bring that right foot sort of in the middle of the chair. Take the back heel down. And we're going to go into hard. Okay. I've just lost my Sanskrit word for it. But anyway, it's like side plank pose. So this is where the hands on the chair come in handy. Where you can work on those hips to make sure that you're not opening this way, that your hips are even. Bring the hands back down to the chair. Bring that foot back to downward dog. And then inhale. The other foot forward so the heel comes down and the back foot's pivoted in more. And then you've got this bar on the chair. Come into, now you don't want to put too much weight on it. You're just trying to use that little leverage, pressing the hands here to then swing that back hip around so that it's not opening that way. Bring the hands back down and feet back into the downward as you feel like the upward. Come into upward and then go back down into downward dog. Couple of breaths here. Now bring that right foot forward. And this pose you can practice a few different ways. You can come back from the chair a little bit and just have the fingers on here and go into Warrior 3. If you feel like you need to be closer, you can like bring the elbows or bring the hands here and find the hips. So that's one option. And the other option, of course, is being back further, hands on the bar, and then really bringing those, trying to bring those hips more level. And bring the hands back down. Both feet back to downward dog. And then bring the left foot forward. So again, the two versions are closer to the chair, hands on the chair, working on those hips, or back away from the chair, just the side bits of the hands on the chair. Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Then bring your feet down, back to downward dog, up to upward facing dog, and then one more round back. And we've done enough poses to prepare you for a bit of a twist pose. So bring that right foot forward. You're going to bring the leg up, and then you can put the hand in the chair, and either the other hand can go on your hips, or it can come up. So revolve, half moon pose. And then inhale back around, step the foot back, downward. Bring the other foot forward. And again, bring the hand in the middle of the chair, the other hand on your hips. And then you can bring the top arm up. And you can step the foot back, both feet back into a downward dog. And then come to an upward dog. And then come back down to your knees and walk the feet back. And either you can have the tops of the feet on the floor or tuck the toes under. And again, have a stretch through the shoulders, armpits. And then the next pose is also one that it's helpful if the chair is up against the wall. But if you do this with good awareness to the weight balancing the chair, you should be all right. But we're going to come close in with the feet on the chair. And then if you've got legs to hold on to, this is what's great about this. I really like this pose. You bring the heels to the end and you come up into okay, I just had a blank. It's all right. Oh my goodness. I just had a brain freeze. That's all right. And then just roll down and place the feet here. It's a supported version of oh my goodness. Anyway, stretching the front body where you have the chin to the chest. There's going to be people watching this and saying, it's this pose, Connor, it's this pose. But right now, I am drawing an absolute blank. But that's okay. And then we'll do another one. So bringing the heels back. And inhale, really press up. And you really can press the front of the hips forward, getting those shoulders underneath you, bringing the chest to the chin. Okay, it's bridge pose. Thank you very much. I remembered it. Or in other words, supported bridge pose. And then come down, place the feet on the chair. Do one more like this. Bringing the heels back, pressing the feet. Holding the chair so you get real nice grip through the arms, shoulders under. And then rolling down, legs on the chair, just a couple of breaths there. But you can feel how your heart the heartbeat starts to increase. It's certainly related to the back bend family and also related to inversions. So it's a way to work towards shoulder stand as well. And there's a nice way to do supported shoulder stand on the chair, but because you really need the wall and extra props, we won't do it today, but it's certainly something you can do. Now you're going to come in the other way on the chair and just use your hands here to really press the hips forward, and you can bend the elbows behind you and come into a version of camel pose. And you can play with bringing the legs forward if you have good front body stretch right now. If you need more
for support, you bring the hips closer in and you just use that as your touchstone. Bring the head back. And then lift the chin to the chest, and then just come down and sit on your heels for a couple of breaths. And for the second one, you can, go more forward or stay where you are. So inhale, come up, and you've got palms here. If you want to walk the knees a little forward, really press the shins and the tops of the feet best you can, and then press those hips forward, lift the chest. Come down to sitting on your heel for a couple of breaths. And then come back up, and I'm just going to show you that this chair has, sit through like this. Some people use chairs sideways, but you need to be safe with whatever chair you have. But if you have a chair that's got the back cut out, see, you can bring the legs through. And if you want to play with a little bit, you could start with the feet bent here. Usually you want to bring the tailbone off. This is like a supported back bend. But because of the length of my body, I like to get the shoulder blades off. And, if you need to hold the head, you can stay here. This is a pose that often needs to be against the wall with extra props. Or you can lengthen through the feet. And if you're feeling the capacity to do it, you can extend the arms. Now this is an unsupported, without extra props pose I'm doing here. But you can keep feet on the floor. You can also keep supporting the head here. So depending on what kind of chair you have. And we'll just hold it a couple of breaths, just to give you the experience of it. And then to come out, you have to bring the hands up and of course the feet in. You may need to support your head and neck. So don't do this if you have neck issues. And then you come up to sitting, and because of the shape of my body, I often like blocks under my feet, but to each their own, to each different. And what I really like about these chairs, and I'm going to do it towards you, but you can do the other way, is having the chair to hold on to do a twist in the chair. This is really lovely. So you bring the opposite hand holding that bar, and then this hand can come and hold the edge of the seat. And this is a great way to do a twist. And then release that side. Come around the other way. So you can really bring this other hand to the edge of the chair. And slowly come around. And this is, of course, where if we had plenty of props, the wall, you could play with supported shoulder stand where the legs do hang off of here, we usually use lots of blankets and lots of softness to support you, because sometimes the edge of the chair is quite hard. But if you don't have all those props, the simplest shavasana to do here is just have the legs on the chair and then the arms next to you, and so that the chair is supporting the lower legs. You can also make it more of an inversion by putting something under your pelvis so that the pelvis is raised a little bit. You can even go so far as to try to extend the legs like so. So there's many versions to play with here. But whatever props you have, do what works for you. And then let your body settle into whatever pose it's in, or whichever version of the pose it's in. And begin to soften the breath. See how soft you can allow your breath to be. And if your legs are supported by the chair, just imagining all the weight in the lower leg are just held and supported by that chair. There's nothing you need to do with the leg. And then from the knees down and into the thigh sockets, into that crease that meets the pelvis. It's as if there's a waterfall that pools right into those thigh sockets. And the pelvis is like a bowl, so that the outer edges contents soften. Front of the rib cage, sides of the rib cage, back of the rib cage, soften. Upper chest, sternum area, soften, and the collarbones widen out to the tips of the shoulders. And the shoulder blades are softening and moving towards the hips. And the space between the shoulder blades soften.
collarbone notches soften. The throat softens. Back of the neck softens and lengthens. Base of the head softens. Scalp is softening. Your forehead widens and softens. Your temples are softening. Space between the forehead widens and softens. Your eyeballs rest into the eye sockets. Your cheeks are softening. Your jaw softens. Your chin is softening. And your tongue rests into the lower palate. Slowly begin to deepen your breath, bringing a little bit of movement into your extremities, into your feet, toes, hands, and fingers. And then you can do a long stretch to roll to your right side. Coming up to sitting. Good thoughts, kind words, and heartfelt action. Namaste. watching and joining